Sri Chinmay Sadguruvaya Namaha. I extend very hearty greetings to all those who are present on the stage and in the audience. Every nation, small or big, has to have a system of governance. Broadly speaking, there are only two systems. One we call as democratic system, and other is dictatorial. Each one of them also has got variations. There is always a debate as to which form of the government or governance is better. Because we find there are success and failures seen in different systems, whether it is dictatorial or democratic. Now what we have to learn, a system is always formed to get some work done, small or big. And no system can be foolproof. After all, the system is always wielded by people. And all people cannot have the same vision, same feeling, same program, and there will be different kinds of problems. At individual level also we find every person wants to be happy. Some person thinks, if I gratify myself and my pleasure, I don't care for anyone else. If that is his idea, then that person will definitely compromise with principles or ideal way of living, because he's only concerned about himself or herself. Sometimes, some people try to be happy by pleasing other people. They all the time want to please others. Someone said, I don't know what is the secret of happiness, but I know how to be sorrowful, and that you try to please everybody else. And when you try to please, then again you compromise. Generally, you will find a dictator dictates only his terms without caring for others. And in many times, democratic system, what happens? We try to please the whims and fancies of people. If we try to please only ourselves or please others, there will be compromises will be there. So what is said in the scriptures, that the important thing is not whether something pleases you or others, but what you are doing, whether it is right thing or not. Whether it is good for all or not. Even personally, person may have to sacrifice or suffer. Or even others also may have to go through difficulties. But what is right and good? Now when we come to that point, so what is right? Very simple answer is, when a person rises above his own little individuality, selfishness, and when he is able to take all people into account and then think, then that will be the right view. Now, in the scripture it is said whichever form of the government is, whether it is a king and dynastic system, or parliamentary system, or presidential, there are three main factors that the ruler has to see. Rakshita Vrittidaha. First and foremost is providing security to people. Not only security, but they must feel they are secured. He must be a protector. And second is Vrittidaha, the provider of employment to everybody. And the third, which is very, very important, and that is the one who provides value education to people, right values. And the right value is a great altar of dedication in life is to be given. I had read a very good quote, an altar in life alters your life. The higher the altar of dedication, you will find that person will always rise higher and higher. The scripture also says that king or the government who does not give this value system, value education, and only collects taxes, then whatever sins the people commit, their result will go to that government, to that king. I think where such a principle is followed, then that is true democracy. Because remember, if you have a democratic system, also people can become dictatorial. And a dictator also can be very, very democratic. If you see the history, you will see that. So these things most important. Next topic is, see, every topic is very, very large, actually speaking. Development. Naturally, we look at what we call the material development, physical development, economic, and all that. Many people have visited different countries, and someone says, oh, such and such country, so much development is there and all that. Then I ask them, do you want to live there? They say, no. They talk about development, but they don't want to live there. I'm not taking any name of any, because it can be any country. The sign of development is, or the result of development is, peace, prosperity, and happiness. Has that development brought peace? And that prosperity, which will lead people to real happiness, that is the sign of development. Now dissension, that is the third point. I'm not going to give very long lectures, because generally people are afraid of Swamis, because they think they will go on and on and on talking. But I'll come to the brief, the important aspect. Now the dissension or dissent. In some of our executive committees meetings also we find a person will say, please note my dissenting note. I will go with majority votes, all right, but I oppose to this point. So in dissenting, we must agree to disagree. That is number one. And the thing is, when there are so many people, there will be difference of opinions. Even a given individual goes on changing his opinion or her opinion at different periods of time. You see, it is what is important. If there are differences in opinions, it is not a problem. But when that difference creates division between us, then there is a problem. In a Tarka Shastra, logic, there are three forms of discussions are pointed out. One is called Vadaha, where two parties are there, two individuals may be, or two parties may be, having different views, but both of them are interested in understanding what truth is and what is good for all. They have different views, but when they discuss to arrive at that truth and good, then that is called Vadaha. That's called discussion. Second form is called Jalpa in Sanskrit. In Jalpa, what is said, there are two parties and both have different views, and their aim is only to defeat the other person. But at least they have got their views and they have to stick to that. But not interested in finding out what the truth is or good is. By whichever method, I have to just defeat the other person. And the third is called Vitanda. And that Vitanda is, whatever you say, that is wrong. And if the other person asks, but what is your standpoint? I don't have any standpoint. Vitanda. One person argumentative. So this person said, okay, I agree with you. He said, that will not help. I have changed my mind. Or my view. So only, just because you say, therefore it is wrong. That cannot be called dissent and all that. So, all these points are also discussed actually in all our scriptures and beautiful text and epics and all that. So, to conclude, I say the democracy is that system actually in which all individuals rise above their individual, personal selfishness, and then they look at things. The democracy will succeed. Development, peace, prosperity, and happiness. And even difference of opinion, if it does not create division, then that difference of opinion is wonderful, and it must be taken into account. If we look at all that, objectively, it will be a great thing. I am so very glad that India Foundation has taken this initiative and organized this conclave. I personally thank Sri Ram Madhavji, who invited me to inaugurate this session. And with this, I declare this conclave inaugurated. Thank you.